few seconds of silence and then saying hello. So, good evening and welcome everybody. We're back to the 4th round of the ESL Champions Club. I believe this is the 41st cup that they've held. This is purely for bragging rights. Who's the best, who's the champion, and who can defeat their opponents. 38 teams in the bracket. My name is Quickshot, and I'm joined by Norseman. Say hi, Norseman.
Hi, Norseman.
Fantastic, we got you well trained. And we're going to be following the Polish team of PWD, Polish Wonder Dream Team, coming against the Swedish side of venvet. I have no idea. It's a Swedish team. We're going to call them venvet. But we are into Champions Select already. So
3 mids being banned: Morgana, Cassiopeia, and Rise. Pretty standard Morgana ban. Cassiopeia is also very, very strong mid, getting her out the way so that AoE stun ulti. Rise is getting to be more and more common ban because he is quite a power. Obviously, the longer the game goes on, he's got the snare, he's got the AoE. Warwick for the next ban, targeting that solo top jungle position for the first time so far.
Well, it's because he's nearly unmovable in lane. It's so difficult to get him out of that lane with his hungering strikes and with his passive giving him health back. It's so difficult. And another solo mid ban, Cassidon as well. So that's very interesting because it leaves, Dr. Mundo's in the pool, Ari's in the pool, Shen is still there as well. Shen has been banned quite often today, actually.
He has actually been banned quite often.
So we'll see what the last ban. There's Ari Ring removed as well. So for the most part, pretty standard bans. Warwick being the only, I don't even want to say unusual ban. But again, it's primarily just for that top lane. It's really difficult to get rid of him. So in the blue team, this is PWDT team. For everybody on chat, whatever you guys are saying, I'm going to go with what Jark, one of their players, has mentioned to me. He's called it the Polish Wonder Dream Team, so that's what we'll call them. And wearing the purple trunks is the Swedes of venvet. I'll try and ruin their name later. But first picks are coming in. I'll be able to show you guys the ladder and the game screen in just a few minutes. Once again, Instalock Janna for that support role. Nothing out of the ordinary. It reveals nothing. It allows you as the first pick team to counter pick your opponents. And we see that now, Nautilus and Yorick. So
Yorick solo top.
Most likely.
He's also quite a power up top. He's interesting that we didn't see an instant pick Shen though.
Well, keep in mind, look, Shen is strong. I said this in the previous game. Shen is very, very powerful, and his split pushing is very annoying to deal with. But the thing that sucks about Shen is that the reason he's not first picked is because he was balanced out. His Vorpal Blade was dropped a little bit. His shield got dropped just a little bit as well fairly recently. So he's not as powerful. Yorick with his Omen of War, Omen of Pestilence, and Omen of Famine is just going to continually beat you in the faces with those ghouls, get health back. And with his ultimate, I don't even know what it's called actually, but it clones one of the members of the team, and it pretty much gives you a double hyper carry if that's the case. So Lee Sin and Cogmore being locked in for PWD.
Cogmore's a very, very good hyper carry. The longer the game goes on, the stronger he gets. That percentage damage from his W is just immense. By Arcane Barrage, it's called.
Yeah, it is the truth. So
Net Furious in chat begging for a Heimerdinger pick. I don't really think Heimerdinger features very much in the top level of games, unfortunately.
Yeah, I must say though, I have seen some fantastic Heimerdingers.
Pick.
Well, let's have a look at the minute. We've got Lee Sin and Cogmore locked in for PWD. The Lee Sin could go top, could go jungle. Most likely will be jungle. We've then seen a Sivir and a Karthus pick for the Swedes. And I'm quite worried about this Karthus because if Jark locks in the Fizz, a Fizz can eat a Karthus alive. He can Playful Trickster over the barrier. He can use his Urchin Strike Q just to close any gap between Karthus. And Karthus, of course, not having any natural escapes, it's going to be a very high kill lane for the Fizz versus Karthus. We've now also got Yudia being locked in for Bravo. So UV and Lee Sin interchangeable. But I think they'll put Udia top. I think they'll put Udia top against Yorick. Udia can survive a little bit better. His turtle stance can shield some damage and give him some sustain back. But I still think...
Yorick is pretty unmovable at top.
True, but they're not going to be able to kill each other. Neither of them has enough sustained damage to get through the natural, the heal of the Omen of Famine. Yorick's E is going to be giving him huge hit points back. And they're not going to be able to deal enough damage to get through the turtle stance of Udia and hurt him. So I think that's going to be a fairly passive lane unless there's ganks. And I think bottom lane, Kog'Maw Janna. We've seen Kog'Maw Janna so many times. The Go for LOL, it was one of the favorites of Go for LOL. And they're going to be facing off against against Sivir and Soraka. So Sivir again being used against the Janna. Probably looking for that free mana. That would be my guess anyway.
And the Boomerang Blade's also quite good. I think a Boomerang Blade at the edge of its range will hit a Kog'Maw firing his ultimate. So that'll be quite nice so that each team has poke. I think at top lane, the Udia versus the Yorick, I think a decent Nautilus gank actually could sort that out with relative ease.
Keep in mind that Yorick also doesn't have any natural escapes. He can put his Omen of Pestilence down, and that's going to be able to at least slow the enemies. And if he just does the on-hit Omen of War, it'll give him a speed boost as well, but he's still going to run away. So combine that with the speed boost of Bear Stance from Udia and the Hadouken from Lee Sin, and it's going to be very cool, but I'm really happy to see a Jungle Nautilus. That's totally awesome. Before we carry on, though, let's have a look at the ladder really quickly. This is the Go for LOL. Sorry, it's not Go for LOL. That's the Sunday one. It is the Champions Club, number 41. And you'll notice some of the teams are already into round 5. Rebels jumping in there. We're going to be following venvet versus PWD. There'll be 2 more games. Logics versus LOTE. And A25. They're already into the next round, so we may be seeing them later on with a little bit of luck. So we'll have to see how this is going on. This is Ian Vetmest from venvet, Sweden. No idea how to say their name. And, of course, PWDT is the Polish side. Well, those of you who've tuned in or watched me from Thursday of last week, they actually won the all-random, all-bottom Dominion Cup. So that was a lot of fun. That was my very, very, very first cup cast. And I'll tell you something, trying to call out spell names and trying to focus on team battles in an all-random, all-bot is beyond difficult. So thank you guys for tuning in. We're just killing the... last minute and a half before the game goes live. And pretty much just going to see... What do you think on champion picks at the minute, Norse? We've got some really hard scaling champs, Udia, Fizz, and Cog.
I think, to be honest with you, they've got enough blocks to let the Kog'Maw just sit back and get the kills. With Lee Sin's kick, Fizz's ulti, Udia's stuns. I do think the venvet team have slightly better picks though. I know the Karthus gets countered pretty hard by the Fizz, but playing properly and with decent ganks from Nautilus, that can get kept under control. And then the Sivir with infinite mana, those Boomerang Blades and Ricochets can be really, really quite annoying.
And it'll help against living artillery as well. Kog'Maw's ulti will be spell shielded by Sivir.
Which is, I definitely think we're going to have very aggressive bot lane early, I think, from Kog'Maw and Janna just to try and stop that Sivir Soraka from farming too much.
I'm interested to see the Nautilus ganks because he's going to use that dredge line. It's his Q spell. Jump forward, close the gap. And then, of course, anybody he spanks with his anchor is going to get stunned for 0.5 seconds. So that's very, very powerful. The thing that's going to be interesting is whether or not he can use his ultimate, that depth charge. Because if he picks the right target, it's going to be very disruptive. That's 5 knockups, for the team. But it all comes down to positional play.
And if you synergize the depth charge with Fizz's fish, I think that's going to be...
Well, keep in mind they're opposing at the minute. So you've got depth charge from Nautilus, and the counter is going to be the Chum the Waters. But what I did just notice is... or not notice, but think about, if you put a depth charge across multiple team members, and then you have a Suicide Karthus flashing in with his, is it Defile, his aura?
Yeah.
That's going to deal mad damage. The thing that's interesting for me is you don't tend to pick Yorick unless you have a hyper carry. So unless you have a Cogmore or a Vayne or some really high damage champion to bring back to life or to duplicate, I don't know if it's going to be the best or it's going to be as powerful on a Sivir as it would be on a Vayne, is all I'm trying to say. So
it could be a double Nautilus just to lock them in place.
That's also true as well. Double Nautilus, his stuns, his abilities are still going to get used. So that's going to be very interesting.
And I think Sivir does have a considerable amount of damage. I think she, wouldn't say underrated, she is quite popular. But her ulti combined, because Nautilus is quite slow, so her ultimate giving him that little movement boost, maybe with the Chevaliers, will allow them to sort of catch up. Karthus putting up a wall to slow them down. I definitely think we're going to see some very interesting team fights in this game.
It's going to come down to positional play, I think. Whether or not Fizz manages to land a good chum the waters. Whether or not depth charge from Nautilus manages to knock up a whole bunch of people. And it looks as though we are live. The game is going, guys. A slightly defensive start. Let me just quickly spam my IRC messages.
Like PWDT might be going towards Nautilus's blue there.
CV on the other side. No CV. Best answer from UDF. So he's going to move forward, but look at this. They may be able to catch somebody else.
Five-man fight.
Looking at the vision at the minute, that's what PWDT see. They see Nautilus, they see the team. So let's go back to the
boomerang blade.
Full.
Karthus puts up the slow wall.
Bit of a disengage at the minute, but now PWDT are split. So they're either going to commit or they're going to have to fall backwards. That's the Omen of Pestilence, and it's the W.
Good ward from Janna there, just to keep vision of that bush so that they
Look
can
at this
see
positioning.
what the venvet team are doing.
I'm swapping back here. Here's the vision of PWDT. If you hit F1 on your keyboard, you'll be able to see that Norse. And you can just see, there's the knockup, not managing to pick up anybody though. Unlucky, but now we've gone for a commitment. Nautilus has been stunned. He's used his Riptide. Lee Sin with a long-range resonating strike. Ignite is down. Ignite.
Flash stun. First blood.
And it goes to Fizz as well. Not only is there is that a 4-man assist? Every single member of the team picks up an assist. Fizz in the mid lane, who is already a counter to Karthus, is going to probably be able to pick up a Doran's ring off this. And that's Doran ring and boots.
Fizz isn't sticking around to grab that blue. It's going to Lee Sin.
Well,
unless they're going to...
No, they're going to pick it up. That's not too bad. Look, Lee Sin with the blue buff, it gives him energy, it gives him cooldown reduction. It just speeds up his farming. But really aggressive first blood. Even though that Howling Gale didn't knock anyone up. Let's go back to full team vision. If I hit F3, you can see on the mini-map now, we can see what everybody sees. And the dark patches on the map, of course, mean that neither team can see that.
Yorick helping out Nautilus starting on red there. I think that's going to really slow Nautilus down. Dying as a jungler at level 1, especially Nautilus who he doesn't necessarily need the blue buff, but it is much more helpful on him than it is on Lee Sin.
I would go so far as to say it's very important on Nautilus. I recently bought Nautilus about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and his mana costs are really high. So to continue using his Riptide and to continue using his AoE abilities, what is the little shield called there? Titan's Wrath. It's an 80 mana cost, 60 on Riptide. And he's only got a mana pool of 370, so that gets burned through really quickly. That's going to put him behind. We'll have to keep an eye on the CS in just a little bit of time and see how that goes. Everybody that is joining, spread the word that the game is on. Round number 4, PWDT managing to pick up first blood. It was actually predicted as well. Somebody in chat mentioned that or threw it out.
Good call on Mustard.
Yeah, well played, Mustard. Really good call.
He gets a private quick shot on Skype later.
Mid lane, we've got some pressure now. Fizz waiting. Playful Trickster lands one. If he lands a dredge line here, beautiful dredge line. Riptide along with the red buff. Almost going to be enough to pick up the kill, but I think that was a lay waste from Karthus doing the final damage. Top lane, there's pressure as well. Nothing coming of it though.
I definitely think Fizz is a counter for Karthus if you avoid those lay wastes, which he really hasn't been doing quite up to standard.
Well,
just quite yet.
What I think was happening with Fizz in that middle lane is I think Fizz is playing for ladders, for levels rather. because I play quite a lot of Fizz. And once you get 2 points or 3 points into your Sea Stone Trident, it applies a higher on-hit damage, and of course takes off a higher percentage of health as well. So once he's got a couple of levels, you'll start seeing now level 4, he'll have 1 into his Playful Trickster. Although he's using it to farm, you're going to be very careful that it's much like the Sanguine Pool of Vlad. If you use it at the wrong time, you just get completely dominated. We've got a double buff Lee Sin setting up for a gank here. Using his shield, landing his Hadouken. There's the Tempest down the slow. This is going to be enough for a stun. If they consider the tower dive, that's 1 tower hit, 2 tower hits. That's going to be Lee Sin backing off. They don't have enough armor or enough hit points to survive sustained tower damage. Let's have a look at items and farm at the moment. 19 CS on Fizz.
Back in lane with the Dorans.
Yeah, Doran's Ring and 23 of Karthus. Bottom lane, huge wave for Kog'Maw to pick up here. 2 hits from the turret on the melee creeps. And then 1 auto attack is enough to pick up the kill. And along with the Eye of the Storm from Janna, just allowing him to pick up a few more of those losses. I think he only missed 2. Really not too bad. 12 CS ahead of Sivir already. That's a noticeable lead at 5 minutes.
It is quite a big lead at 5 minutes. I think Sivir's focusing a little bit much on harass and trying to...
Top lane, huge pressure coming in. Dredge line pulls Udia forward. Riptide lands as well. The stun, but they don't have enough damage to back that up. No mana from Yorick means he can't spam those ghouls anymore. And not really having an execution type move means he's not going to be able to pick up that kill, unfortunately. But a great Q from Nautilus, pulling Udia back. Having a look at the farm at the minute. 44 for Kog'Maw to 31 on Sivir. Only a 10 difference. It's not that big a difference. Well, not that big a deal. But
not yet, but I think it's 6 minutes. That's quite a bit. DC from Fizz in the middle.
That's really unlucky.
That's going to slow them down a lot. Looks like Lee Sin could be coming in to try cover the lane.
He'll probably be pushing in at the very least just to farm the experience. There goes the slow wall. 1 lay waste to the face. Dredge line misses. Beautiful juke from Lee Sin. Really well played. Great positional play and timing on when to move and dodging that dredge line. You told me the trick for Mundo that his cleaver always swings left, is it?
If you're throwing it, you throw it to the right. If you're dodging, you dodge to the left.
Yeah, there's a curvature of the earth on the Mundo cleaver. Pay attention to it next time. You'll see you can dodge it a little bit more easily if you move into the one particular direction.
Quite interesting. Did Lee Sin pick up the blue team blue buff as well?
It looks like he did, actually. So he stole the blue buff from
Nautilus,
and from the purple side of venvet. Somebody gave me an explanation a little bit earlier. It was Ian. What was the name? Ian Knows It All. It was apparently a translation from some Swedish television show. Janna's now moving up to ward, or that is, they know the ward's there. Did she steal it?
Was that a Janna steal?
That is a fantastic
steal. Wow, and that's going to give her so much presence in lane now. She's going to have free casts on all of her abilities, essentially. She'll be able to get a lot of harass.
Really great. You can hear the Henry, that's the quick shot Norseman. Both of us saying fantastic at the same time. Max range, level 1 Howling Gale steal. So that's both blue buffs stolen by PWDT. And really great. All of that stemming from that ward. All of it stemming from having vision. The difficulty now is that Fizz is behind on farm. He's 25 creep kills down and about a level and a half. So he has just picked up his ultimate. And if he goes for a full combo with the Ignite, it should be enough. That Land Shark should be able to deal enough damage to kill Karthus. What a great steal.
The Fizz for the Karthus, especially at this point, is he has to get in really close. So Karthus can put his Defile on, and then with Karthus's passive, that extra 8 seconds from Death Defied, allowing him to put the lay waste on, it could be really dangerous for Fizz at this point.
Yeah, you are right. And there's the Chum the Waters we talk about. Urchin Strike into Playful Trickster. The shield from Lee Sin coming up as well. What a fantastic dive. Are we going to see Requiem? Requiem's coming up, but I don't think he's got enough damage to pick up the kill. So that was a little bit of a waste. Leeson clearly had a strong
Good shield from Janna there on
Cogmore.
Cogmore for the Requiem coming in, just to stop that damage, just to make sure that his carry doesn't stay too far, doesn't stray down too low.
And very, very smart move from Janna. She has the cooldown reduction, so it makes her ultimate Monsoon down to 1.5 minutes. So she uses it just to give Cogmore life, to counter out the Soraka, you know, or counter out the lack of sustain. And of course, with the cooldown only being 90 seconds now, it's way, way, way more useful to give Cogmore full health and let him keep farming. How are we doing farm-wise there at the minute, Norse? Cog versus Sivir.
Farm-wise at the minute, Cog versus Sivir, it's 69 on Sivir to 83 on Cog. So Cog is keeping his lead and pulling it forward 1 or 2 minions at a time. I definitely think it's a situation that Sivir really can't be getting into.
Coming in, huge pressure on the top line. There's the stun, there's the Riptide. We're going to have to see if there's a counter. Using the Dredge line to pull away. Nautilus can pull himself onto cover or terrain. A little bit of a stun in Tiger Stance proc, but not enough to do any significant damage.
Something you definitely don't want to be doing is tower diving on Nautilus, because he's just going to lock you in place under that tower, where you can take, you know, an extra 1 or 2 tower hits, which especially at this level can mean death. Or at any level can mean death, really, but more so now.
Yeah, without having armor, without having hit points, that turret really chews through your life. And it's a bit nerve-wracking here on this bottom lane.
Fizz finally getting a blue.
So it's a second blue, isn't it, for blue team?
Second blue for the blue team. Some harass
PWD
going down
team.
on Sivir. Soraka just healing through it.
And farm-wise, sitting 17 or so behind. Fizz, not too bad. Let's see what he's maxing. Exactly as I predicted, he's putting 4 points into his W. It's his Seastone Trident. That's his main DPS ability. Interestingly, he's opting to put a point into Urchin Strike. And I don't agree with that. Your main nuke, or your main burst damage, actually comes from Playful Trickster. Level 1 and lands dealing 130 damage. And Urchin Strike only deals 90 damage, and that's with the AP bonus added in as well. You know, 40 base as opposed to a 70 base, and that's level 2 versus level 1. The reason that you take Urchin Strike is primarily for your on-hit effect, when you go for a Sheen or for a Lich Bane. And of course it applies the red buff as well, you know, any on-hit effects. Look at this now.
Leeson coming in on Karthus. Fizz going up top to try and on the Yorick, but it means he's not there for the gank onto Karthus that Leeson just came in for.
And of course there is the ward in the Tribush up in the top lane from venvet, or Ian Knows It All. We're going to call him Ian Knows It All from now on. You guys know what... someone explained it to me, so that's what they're going to be called. So, the know-it-alls with the wards, meaning they know it all. And we might see
Leeson
another...
looking for Nautilus in the jungle here, and Nautilus's jungle. Fizz coming
Great
in to
dredge
help.
line from Nautilus, closing the gap. But neither of them really having the ability to kill one another. It's kind of like
Soraka,
a
you don't
giant...
think Leeson's waiting around for the blue, do you?
I think Leeson knows it's going to be spawning, but what I anticipate is a gank very similar to earlier. He lands his Hadouken, moves forward. Fizz is going to throw Chumba Waters. That lands onto Nautilus along with the damage. Brilliant Dragon's Rage kick from Leeson means that Nautilus is going to be able to get away. Huge, huge, huge damage. That just split focus, though. That's going to be a dead Leeson. And all of a sudden, Wish from Soraka is enough hit points to save that Nautilus. Really, really powerful. We've had a disconnect from Fizz now, and this looks like he's going to get killed. That's not nice to see. That's not fair to see at all. It was pretty obvious that that was a disconnect. But you can't really blame Karthus. We'll have to see what happens now. Cogmore and Janna comboing up to steal the blue. Are they going to get out of range? Yep. Nice juke. The wall of pain going down. Not managed to catch anybody, though. Dredge line going out. That also misses. 2-3 is the kill score. PWDT, they still have the advantage, compliments of slightly superior farming and slightly better the first kill. And look at this damage. Summoner heal being used by Soraka. Dredge line popped out for Nautilus. He pulls Cogmore forward, and the Cogmore and Janna more than enough to at least stop the dragon.
No.
Leeson pushing forward with some aggression. Not a huge amount, though. Now, all of a sudden, PWDT are going to be going for Drake.
I definitely think this is something that they're going to need, because with Jarku disconnecting like this, they're going to have to try and get some form of advantage just to stop that Karthus.
Yeah, that is true. Even
Karthus
with
sitting
2 disconnects and a free kill, Karthus now has blue buff, and
80
Fizz is falling behind.
83 minions and 3 kills versus 61 and 1 kill and an assist for Karthus versus Fizz. So Karthus definitely is, let alone the level advantage, that the free farm advantage is really going to start playing in his team's favor.
Look at the items on the bottom lane though. Cogmore with his 30 creep score lead. That's close to a 650 gold advantage. He's already finished his BF sword. He's got Berserker's Greaves and the single Dorans in comparison to the double Dorans Berserkers of Sivir. So he's really going to be hitting hard. And with his blue buff, he's just going to be able to spam out that living artillery all day long. I have to agree with the comment made on chat. Why did Lee Sin leave? You know, why did Lee Sin run away? Yes, Soraka came in. She popped her W heal and her wish. And look at this damage now from Soraka. She's going to consider blowing her ultimate. But look at the return damage. Living artillery blocked. That's a W summon a heal as well. They're going to keep moving. No knock-up and no slow. So unfortunately, not going to be able to finish the kill. But great, great pressure. That was 1 versus 2 for most of the fight. Until Janna jumped in there, trying to put some more damage down.
Very good spell shield from Sivir as well, stopping that last...
Pressure on the top lane and a brilliant flash from Udyr. He ran into the face of Nautilus, was looking him in the eyes, and as Nautilus threw the dredge line, Udyr just said, "Is it brew?" and flashed right over it. Got out of range.
No, you don't get that. You don't get to say, "Is it brew?"
Chum the waters, lands onto Nautilus, huge damage. His shield blocks a large chunk of it. Brilliantly done. This might be a dead Fizz. Managing to take a shield from Lee Sin. The clone from Yorick going down onto Nautilus, so he's going to keep applying the stuns, keep applying the slows. Huge damage. Yorick jumps in and a brilliant, brilliant flash away from Lee Sin using his W shield, and now there's pressures going falling back. 1 or 2 strikes of Seastone Trident might be enough to tick over. The Udyr Tiger Stance picks up a kill, and brilliant coordination. That was fantastic, fantastic play from PWDT. It was obvious on comms, let's go, let's dive, and then of course, I'll shield and move back. And Fizz using the gank to pull himself back into this. 2-2-2, still behind on CS, but surviving the Karthus ultimate. That's it down now for a good minute and a half. Really, really good dive on that top lane. Taking a look at the lanes at the minute, just resettling back to the farming. And Cogmore and Janna are just in complete control of this lane. 149 CS to 113. Top lane, Udyr on 107 to the 100 of Yorick, so that's pretty even. But I thought that was going to be a farm fest. Neither champion, or neither...
So, quite surprisingly, actually, Nautilus has more minions. It was farming better than the Lee Sin.
Yeah, just until that last camp.
Yeah, just until that last camp. But then, looking at it though, Lee Sin has been involved in more ganks. So
keep in mind as well, Lee Sin would have been taking up a couple of levels and a bit of experience from that mid lane, from the disconnect from Fizz. So Fizz now moving into blue buff area. He's leveling up his Urchin Strike, and I'm not 100% sold on this plan. Great use of the Urchin Strike over the wall, and then play full Trickster back, just to get into lane even quicker. And my guess is exactly like they say in chat. Nostard's called it. PWDT are probably going to take this. And I think it's because of the coordination. I would go so far as to say, just watching these tower dives, you know, they did it earlier. Lee Sin did the tower dive in conjunction with Fizz onto the Karthus, and then Lee Sin, Udyr, and Fizz doing a tower dive on the top lane as well. But we can't count out Ian knows best, or Ian knows everything, or Ian is a Swede, or whatever they're called, just yet, because the goal difference is pretty close.
Karthus and Fizz both having blue in the mid lane now.
Look at the top lane. Look at the top lane. Turret's about to go down. They're going to push this top turret down. As soon as the turret's down, Dragon's Rage goes onto this enemy, Yorick. He's going to get completely focused and completely blown up. He does come back as a ghost, but look at that damage coming down. Chum the Waters now landing onto Karthus. Wish being used by Soraka. The damage over time ability is going to be enough to pick up the first kill. Requiem is going to now finally kill Fizz. That's his first Requiem kill of the game for Karthus. And just a little bit unlucky for Fizz, not being able to use Playful Trickster, not being able to jump away from the damaging proc. Was Monsoon used in the bot lane? No. Janna's still got her ultimate up. And playing very, very passive. Kog'Maw's not only got a level advantage over Sivir and Soraka, but he's got the item advantage as well. Zeal, double Dorans, and the BF sword. So Kog'Maw really wants the movement speed, wants the crits.
200 damage on his auto attacks with that Eye of the Storm from Janna.
And add the damage from his Bioarcane Barrage, which is now maxed out. 6% of a target's maximum health. And it adds 210 auto attack damage. It's absolutely massive. For Sovgo's Pew, you are 100% right. Against those aggressive dives, there's not a lot you can do. I love to see it though. I love to see the aggression in the League of Legends at the moment. It makes it feel like you're watching a little bit more of Dota 2. It's not just a passive farming game like we'd watched some of the earlier rounds, you know. 20 minutes of CS and only
Soraka could get
kills.
caught out here. Oh no, wait, hang on.
And it's Janna. Janna's a bit overextended. Dragon's up. So this is the second dragon now. PWDT picked up the first one.
Wouldn't you love to see another Janna steal with that Howling Gale?
That would be fantastic on a dragon.
Unfortunately,
again. Another disconnect. So that's going to give the Swedes a chance to push forward. They put a stun onto Udia, and look at this damage. Sivir blowing her ultimate. Monsoon used by Janna, going to force everybody back. Lee Sin's waiting to jump out the way. Boomerang Blade throwing out and misses most people. Void Izu's put down, and look at the damage. Summoner heal used now as well, which is still available from Soraka. Udia going, I don't care. I'm a man, big, bear, pig, turtle, phoenix thing. Depth charge knocking him up. Kog'Maw and Lee Sin now coming back in the fight from the bottom lane. This is a 4 versus 5, and PWDT just are no problems. Bear stance, turtle stance.
See the man bear
Udia is even getting away from that man bear pig too strong, and they're still committing. They're still staying in on this. Lee Sin landing his Q, landing his slow. This is going to be a dead Lee Sin, I think. Finally, they're going to pick up a kill. Udia coming in once again, poking some damage. And they're going to need to be careful. Requiem's got as well. Once that turtle shield goes down, here's a Requiem, potential Requiem double kill. Karthus opting not to use it, and that's a bit strange. I would have used it. I would definitely have thrown it out. Now they've had time to heal up again. I was going to pick up a dragon. I think PWDT should probably have fallen back. They stayed just a little bit too long. You know, I feel they, yes, they're strong. Yes, they have the lead. Look, they're going in again. This is ballsy. Lay waste, lay waste. No mana from Karthus.
No mana for the Requiem now. Though.
No mana
Wait,
for
hang
Karthus.
on, he gets some from
the infuse.
Soraka.
Is it enough though? There's not enough damage. Look at this. Are they going to go in for a steal? No, they don't manage to pick up the steal. The Swedes do get it.
That was an ulti from Sivir as well.
The fight was going that long. Sivir started the previous fight with her ultimate and then used it again to close off the fight. That is how long we were watching those two teams go back and forth, and that was again 4 versus 5. So PWDT, the coordination and the control is really, really good with this team. I just really hope Fizz, Jar can stay connected for longer, because it sucks when you got to deal with that. Have a look at the gold graph so far. 3,000 gold lead for PWDT, and that's with one player not farming, and with having lost a dragon. So the farm advantage really, really going in their favor.
Look at the Kog'Maw, almost 55 minions ahead of, 52 in fact, ahead of Sivir. I mean, that's close to 1,000 gold. That's not going to be made up by the 1 kill difference.
Well, that's nearly a Zeal if you do the math. So yeah, true. Sivir's managed to pick up 200 gold for a kill, but she's still 800 gold behind. That's the crit cloak, a near pickaxe. That's a huge difference. Janna's been caught out now. Red buff from Sivir is going to be able to slow her down if she hits the attacks. Sadly, doesn't get in range though. Sivir's little boomerangs are a little bit small. Looking on the top lane. Big gank going down. We missed that one. Chum the Waters was used, so Fizz did use his ultimate. And I think he picked up blue buff before doing so it's not too bad for him. It'll be up again, available soon enough. Sivir now coming up from behind against this Janna. Look at that damage. Crit. just melting Siva's HP total. Wish has been used. That was to save Siva. One more living artillery will be able to pick up the kill, but Kog'Maw doesn't have the mana for it. Ultimate from Siva used. Astral Blessing lands, and really unfortunate for Kog'Maw. He landed so many of those
very good flash from
living
Soraka
artilleries.
there. Barely dodging the Q from Lee Sin.
And a great juke there on the dredge line. Flash from Nautilus. He is going to pick up the stun. He's popped the ultimate as well. And notice it just from the knockup. No, it's still available. It was a slightly different ability. Janus now gets pulled back by a brilliant dredge line. And I love watching that auto attack animation. Nautilus just says, sit down, and hits you in the head.
That's PWDT losing their Oracle as well.
400 gold down.
Yudia is just pushing the top lane. Look at him already on the inhibitor turret. He may even be able to get this down. Nautilus is making his way over as fast as he possibly can. I don't know that was a worthwhile trade, the Oracles for the interior turret, but it definitely seems to have worked in their favor because PWDT are staying ahead in the gold.
If you do the math, it does work out. I mean, 2 turrets, it means that Janna's going to be able to get 300 odd gold. Chum the Water's going down onto Soraka, and that's massive damage. Yorick completely wasting his ultimate there. Using his ultimate in Soraka, that's not going to revive Soraka, it's going to give a clone of Soraka. Let's find out what the name on that ability is actually. It's Omen of Death. That was a complete waste. It allowed Soraka to get reborn, only to be killed once again. So, not happy with that one. I don't think that was a smart choice. At least from my point of view.
4 turrets to none for PWDT.
So even with double disconnect and a kill now in the bottom lane, I completely missed that, or in the river. Is that another Oracle's down for Janna? That could be the case. I didn't see if she'd actually picked it yet.
Soraka actually lost her Oracles as well with that death.
Yeah, that is true.
So
we'll have to see what happens now. Having a look at the items, you can see Kog'Maw finished Bloodthirster, finished Zeal. Siva the same on the other side. But with an extra kill on Siva's hands and a Karthus that's slowly being fed. Of the 8 kills for the Swedes of Ian Knows Everything. Chum the Water's landing. That's a max range Chum. Huge damage. Urchin Strike. Seastone Trident. Sludge. Brilliant dredge line from Nautilus. Locking him down on Karthus's Defile. Lee Sin's going to place a ward, use his Iron Will, jump over, and mitigate most of that damage, and really great play. Now Yudia's coming in. Best on stun is going to hit Nautilus. Tiger Stance is being picked up as well. He has Kog'Maw in the bottom.
There's a Siva ultimate for the escape.
Siva's going to be running away. Another stun goes down into Nautilus. Bear Stance going, and now they've decided to commit. Nautilus using his shield. Wish has been blown as well. Summoner Heal going down for now. Finally, Nautilus gets taken down. That's 15 seconds of constant attack. And look at Soraka being melted there. And look, this is the coordination from PWDT. It's absolutely fantastic. Sorry for yelling over you there, Norsi, but
not a problem.
I like the play-by-plays. They are my fun. 66 viewers. What's up, guys? Thank you for hanging around. I'm Quickshot, and that's Norseman. Say hi, Norseman.
Hi, Norseman. 220. This Kog'Maw's just farming. He may not have the same kills as Siva, but if we look at the gold graphs, I mean, Kog'Maw's 8,500 total to Siva's 7,000 total. That's a huge lead, especially on a hyper carry like Kog'Maw, where every gold counts towards a team fight.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, look at the rest of the gold. 7,800 on Karthus to 7,600 on Fizz. And please keep in mind that with 3 disconnects, guys. And Fizz with 3 disconnects is staying on the same farm and gold. Well, not the same farm. He's 60 CS behind. Make that 4 disconnects, guys. But compliments of the 4 turrets being pushed and compliments of the extremely aggressive ganks, Fizz is keeping himself in this game. Keeping himself at odds end. And it looks like we're in for a really good match. Pressure on this top lane now.
Yudia going on Yorick.
No mana left, so he's got to be very careful here. He's going to use the best stance. He's been exhausted now as well. And I think that's going to be a dead Yudia. Maybe not. Maybe I spoke way too soon. Yorick gave up. Yorick stopped chasing. I don't understand that. I mean, that was a clearly dead, overextended Yudia, but they depended not to go for that. Dragon picked up.
Dragon went down so fast.
Brilliant dredge line.
Getting caught out.
Huge damage going down. Monsoon should be blown by Janna. Janna completely blown off before she can even use her ultimate, really. Brilliant damage there.
A lot of focus on Cogmore here.
He is now down as well. Requiem should be enough to pick up the kill now onto Lee Sin. No, Lee Sin gets away with a sliver of health. In the background, Nautilus managing to pick up another kill onto Cogmore. And that was a great turnaround. 4 for 1. Karthus the only one to go down in that fight. And now they're going to take this middle team.
Very good from Nautilus and Yorick in that fight. Both of them flashing over the wall and just chasing the Cogmore away, stopping most of PWDT's team damage.
I think what happened in that previous fight as well is that Janna had used her ultimate. She threw Monsoon out, and it pushed everybody back, but Nautilus's ultimate of depth charge was just enough to knock everybody up and keep them in place. Taking a lot of damage from this Baron Nashor. Baron is going down slowly but surely. No ultimate from Fizz, and he ate a full boomerang blade to the face. And yeah, Spinks, you're 100% right. The disconnects from Fizz have really cost them. They haven't been able to pick very many 5v5 fights. That's very, very difficult.
Janna's also 1200 gold down. That's the third Oracle she lost in that last fight.
1200 gold. That's nearly a needlessly large rod.
And on a support, that's huge. Especially when... what are we calling the Swedish team again?
The Swedes. Ian knows best. Ian knows
best.
The Swedes.
Ian knows best have a locket of the Solari on their... of the Iron Solari on their Nautilus, which is a nice shield, which means Soraka won't have to buy that item. He's got the Aegis of the Legion, which is the aura for the armor, magic resist, and damage. So although the items are good, it's working out as an extra support for their team.
Yep, that is true.
Which is just going to help the gap between the Sivir and the Cogmore's farm. And Sivir on 304 now has definitely brought that gap completely closed. Cogmore only has the 233 minions to show.
Yep, having the kills, having the extra gold. So it's going to be difficult for the team, or for PWDT. It's going to be the fact that they're constantly 4 versus 5. JarQ, don't take this the wrong way, guys. I don't mean this too racist, but Polish internet not too strong today. And unfortunately, multiple disconnects are costing them. UDS stole the red buff. Bravo! I mean that in, clap hands. Nicely done. Fizz's passive allows him to mitigate damage from basic minion attacks. So reduces it by 12 at his current level, and it does scale. I believe it goes to 16 at max level. There's a dive going down into Udia. There's the depth charge going down. But Udia is just so tanky. He gets away with it. Janna standing in the face of 5 Swedish champions. Not afraid at all. Sticking in their faces. Fizz was originally thought of being maybe another jungler. Compliments of his passive, but his burst is just too good to not stick him in the middle lane. And of course, being able to mitigate, to dodge so many abilities. Playful Trickster and Urchin Strike getting out of range and positioning him where he wants to. He's just fantastic. And while the Swedes are pushing this top lane, Lee Sin is pushing in the middle lane. He's picking a fight with Yorick, putting some damage down. He's picked up a turret from that already. So that's 5 turrets down for the Poles. And they've really got control of this map.
Fantastic play from Lee Sin there as well, because, I mean, with the Swedes, Vesvet having Baron buff for them push is natural. Yep. Just with having Lee Sin do that, it looks like they're going in for a fight.
Look at this fight now. Lee Sin has moved up. Tempest cripple is down. Lee Sin's trying to move up to the carries, but they're ignoring Nautilus. Brilliant Dragon's Rage kick. That's a completely dead Karthus. I don't know if Chum the Waters was necessary on him. They've turned their attentions now to Sivir. Requiem's going to come in. That's going to be a nearly dead Udia. Summoner heals blown, along with the heal from Monsoon, as well as Summoner heal used, and a brilliant flash from Janna, and a completely missed dredge line means that Janna almost gets away. So they traded Janna for a Karthus. Really well done. The passive from Fizz reduces damage from minions, and brilliant dredge line. There's a stun onto Udia. Udia gets blown up. Fizz jumps in there. Wish from Soraka saves teammates, and now Lee Sin's overcommitting. That was a bit of poor communication, poor decision making from PWDT. It felt a bit desperate actually. They really should have just fallen back and given the turret up. The W from Fizz is his Sea Stone Trident, and what that does is, if you read it there, it deals 70 base damage at max level, plus a portion of your ability power. Right now it's 200 damage over 3 seconds, plus an additional 8% of the target's missing health. It's one of the best execution abilities in the game. Siva taking huge amounts of damage there from Cogmore on the first inhibitor. Goes down for the poles. They're now pushing the enemies back.
Mid turret goes down to minions for the Swedes.
Yep, that's the first one. And keep in mind again, if you have a look there, when Fizz activates it as well, not only does it add the passive ability, it adds an additional damage from his passive. So you combo all of that damage and the damage over the time, and you build it with a Lich Bane as well, which is the on hit for Lich Bane. It really, really chunks hit points down. He's almost as effective a burst champion as LeBlanc. It just takes a couple of seconds to really hit in there. Look at the gold graph now. All of a sudden, with the disconnects and with the pushes, the Swedes have taken gold graph lead for the first time.
And Siva's pushed ahead of the Cogmore as well. I definitely think in that fight as well, there was the Siva Ghost from Yorick, which definitely helped, because having essentially 2 AD carries for the fight, auto-attacking, is just an extra huge amount of damage.
2 AD carries with Bloodthirsters and Phantom Dancers.
I do think the PWDT still stand a chance in this game. If Jarku can just stay connected and they can choose a slightly better team fight, because that time I think they underestimated Yorick's speed and thought they could go in for a 4v5, and before they knew it, the tables were turned for a 5v5 against a team with Baron buff.
Keep in mind as well, one of the big differentiating factors in that team was Jarku's decision to throw Chum the Waters onto Karthus. The way that fight happened, Lee Sin ran straight through everybody of the Swedes. He ran straight to Karthus, jumped up behind Karthus and kicked him into the team. And that took about a third of his hit points away. He was then followed up by an Urchin Strike and a Seastone Trident activation onto Karthus, which chunked his hit points down a huge amount. But then Fizz decided to use Chum the Waters as well. Chum the Waters only hit Karthus, and that was a nearly dead Karthus anyway. So, you know, he was using it. It was sort of like using a 50 cal sniper rifle to shoot somebody at point blank range. It's just not necessary. So that was I think he should have maybe tried to target the Siva, maybe trying to target some, slightly more of a clumped up champions, deal damage to everybody. That may have turned the fight.
Going in for something here.
He is committing there. No Karthus is in the middle. He's got a stun down onto Soraka. He gets stunned in return. Brilliant shield up from Lee Sin to close the gap. Now putting some slows. Brilliant Chum goes down onto Soraka. Not enough to save her life though. Nautilus is now caught alone on the bottom, and Udia is just going up. He doesn't care. Nautilus gets picked off on the bottom, and that was great. That was really, really good targeting and really good decision making. Jarku saving his ultimate for Soraka and managed to knock up Soraka and Siva. Siva managing to get away though. And that Locket of the Iron Solaria giving the shield, almost saving Soraka. I thought for a second maybe she could have got away with it, but it was not to be.
Could we see a PWDT Baron here?
That's what I would do. They've got, although, yeah, Nautilus.
20 seconds to Soraka, so they don't have the CV up. It means someone's going to have to go and look.
There's no Cogmore either, hey? Remember that.
There's no Cogmore, but there is. Udia's movement speed is phenomenal. Lee Sin's kick. Fizz's,
yeah, even without Cogmore.
They do have a lot of damage, and they've got a lot of mobility as well, so they could have peeled away there and focused down any champion.
Yeah, that is true. So now they've picked up the Baron, and look at that. All of a sudden,
back in the game.
Yeah, look at the gold graph now. All of a sudden, having Jarku in the map for a little bit, 1 or 2 decent team fights. I think they got Dragon as well. I didn't pay attention to that. I may have missed it. I apologize. But let's have a look at the items really quickly. 273 CS on Cogmore, Bloodthirster, Phantom Dancer, and Lost Whisperer. Fizz with his Death Cap and his Lich Bane, so he's going to be hitting like a freight train. Look at Lee Sin as well. Lee Sin, I'm really happy with Lee Sin's build. 40
minutes in, and neither carry has an Infinity Edge yet.
Yeah, both of them going for the Bloodthirsters. So, very, very interesting to see. It is technically the higher damage item. It max stacks with 40 additional attack damage. But it doesn't give you the bonus on crits. So, neither here nor there. It kind of comes down to personal preference, I think. Finally, Nautilus converting that Philostone. No, not the Philostone, the Heart of Gold into his Randian's Omen. And that's going to be incredibly important. Lee Sin, Udia, and Cogmore all scale for attack speed and movement speed, so you're going to have to be shutting them down as best they can. Guys, we're hanging around at the magic number 69 viewers, if you know what I mean. About to go wow. All right. 54,000
I think that's
gold.
a sexy dance number.
No, this is a PG-13 stream, guys. There'll be no sexy dances. And if there is a sexy dance, it'll have to be a... what's the New Zealand folk group? They do the joke... Oh, all the jokes. It's business time.
Flight of the Conchords.
Yes, Flight of the Conchords.
God.
Try to take his jeans off, but I still got my shoes on and turn it into a sexy dance.
PWDT have played so aggressive all game, pushing forward, going for 5-on-5 fights against a team that had Baron, and now they have Baron and they're playing passive.
Yeah, but I think they're a little bit afraid. They've got an open inhibitor, and that does a lot psychologically for your team. It really, really affects your gameplay. It's always there. It's always in the back of your mind, you know. Always thinking, is it business time for the inhibitor? And we're just going to have to see what's happening.
True.
Well, let's have a look at the items. Quickly bring up, bring up the gold graphs. You can have a quick look. Like bear stance coming in from Udia. They were hoping to catch somebody off guard, hoping to slap someone with that bear pimp hand. Now they're committing. Nautilus staying in the back. Brilliant depth charge onto Cogmore. And look at the focus. Cogmore, everybody's jumping onto him. Huge damage from the Laywaste and the Defiles. He goes down in the beginning, right at the end. Fizz manages to shut down Sivir though. Lee Sin kills Karthus, and in amongst all of this, 2 for 2 at the moment. Huge damage going down. No lie, it's 1 for 1. Sivir's 1 for 2 rather. Damage going down. Tanky DPS the battle. Finally, Nautilus is going to go down. Tiger Stance in and amongst all of that. He gets a Yorick ultimate at the last second, and that was a good Yorick ultimate, allowing Nautilus to come up to stun, to Dredgeline, to Riptide. Split from everybody. Udia just flashes over the wall. He wants Yorick. He's going to send the Gravedigger to his grave. Not without some help from Soraka, though. The attention's been turned to the inhibitor turret. Udia, look at this. Just tanking the damage from both Yorick and Soraka. Nautilus has gone down in the background, so Cogmore for 3 and an inhibitor. That is a fair trade any day of the week.
And I think they'll probably push top at this stage as well, because they have a very large minion wave coming in, and I definitely think they have the damage to get it.
Well, they do, but they're not going to hang around. The death timers are a bit too short. They're going to be moving back right now as well.
Looks like they're going to be going for a dragon now as well. And just while they do that, I'd like to mention Jarku in that fight, as Karthus' ultimate was going on, as Karthus was channeling Requiem, he timed his playful trickster perfectly, so it didn't actually hit him.
Fantastic.
Which I think just prevented an extra kill, which could have actually turned that into a rout as opposed to a victory.
Yeah, it is very true. Janna tried to solo the Golem, blue buff Golem, but she's not that strong.
She doesn't have, for 42 minutes, buying all of those oracles has definitely slowed her down. I understand the importance of clearing your enemy's wards and denying them that vision, but 42 minutes in, and she only really has 1 support item.
Which she built right now.
Which she only just finished.
Well, do the math. That's 8,600 gold in Janna, and she's got 4 deaths to her name. So we can assume, we know that she lost at least 3 oracles.
She's on her 5th. She's definitely lost 4 oracles.
Definitely lost 4. I mean, that's 1,600 gold. That's a huge disadvantage.
It's 2,000 gold, because she had to buy a 5th.
Yeah, that is right. You are right.
That's a finished Shurelia's or a finished Locket. And then if you look at venvet's team, they've got 2 Lockets, a Shurelia's and a Randian's for support items.
I'm very interested to see how this Lee Sin's going to go. This is a fantastic build on Lee Sin. I'm going to be copying this for all of my games. He's gone Warmogs into more of my Mortis, but while I'm talking, stun comes out from Udia onto Karthus, and look at that huge damage. Heal down onto Karthus, Summoner heal blown as well. Monsoon used to pop everybody back.
And then stops to try and kill the Sivir.
And that was a bit of poor decision making. Nautilus applying the stuns, applying their hits. Yorick is almost going down in amongst this, uses his Omen of Famine to come back to life, manages to pick up a double kill with those Omens. He's now got blue buff, and that's going to be a dead Janna. And I think that's a little bit of overconfidence. I think that was PWD thinking they were stronger than they actually are. So a little bit of overconfidence, a little bit of poor decision making. You don't really want to blow up the Karthus anyway, because he's just going to come back to life and carry on pushing you. Hi, Davey I. What's up, man? I do have my eye on chat. Give us some feedback. What do you want to say? You're making me nervous saying my name and not saying anything after that.
I think Dave. I think he's trying to point out that Dave in Flames has made a suggestion that we haven't responded to just quite yet. Because I'm trying my hardest to force Quickshot to dance, but unfortunately, he's a little bit far away for me to force it. Or to join in. Jana buying a 6th Oracle's Elixir. Does she really need it with Lee Sin having one active already?
What I was trying to say as well, just before that fight broke out, I'm really happy with Lee Sin's build. Warmogs into more of Malmortius. And now he's got a Chain Vest, so Chain Vest is going to be taking over. That'll eventually become a Atma's Impaler. Give him some crit chance, give him some attack damage. We haven't said it for a little while, so 65 viewers who are here. Thank you guys for hanging around. Thank you guys for tuning in. My name is Quickshot, and the other dude
is Norseman.
Thank you. We are the Henry clan combo. And commentating the ESL Champions Club. It's just a fun cup. This is just for bragging rights. And a brilliant dredge line into Fizz into the stun. Playful Trickster used there. Chum the Waters is going to catch 3 champions from Fizz, so that was fantastic. Monsoon blown very early from Janet to try to split the team, try to split the focus. But now PWD are all over the place. And what went from a fantastically looking composed team, they're now all over the place. Cogmore, Fizz managed to pick up Nautilus, but Yorick managed to pick up supremely overconfident Udia. Then goes Lee Sin. Lee Sin is now dead. 2-for-1 trade. A jungler for a top lane and jungler. Might let the Swedes push this lane down, and they're going to. Cogmore is putting some really good damage though. Jana taking 1 or 2 auto attacks that she really shouldn't have.
Cogmore lost his GA in that fight as well, so he definitely did take a lot of damage.
Yeah, Cogmore had to come back to life. Compliments of the Guardian Angel. He picked up a kill at the very least, but
that's a bit of wasted focus. I mean, how much that Nautilus has so much armor.
Well,
on 260 armor.
Keep in mind the teams were split. Keep in mind the teams were split, Norse, because Cogmore was killed around about there where I just put my ping down, and the rest of the team were fighting there. So it was compliments of Nautilus pushing further than he should have. And now we've got a very brave here. Jana and Cogmore trying to put some damage down onto this Baron Nashor, and they could probably do this. I mean, the damage shield from Cogmore, or the damage shield from Jana, is helping a lot, but...
The problem is that when Baron hits you, it reduces your attack damage. So Cogmore, not having that IE allowing for the massive crits, just doesn't have the damage to do it on his own just quite yet, unfortunately.
Yeah, look at the item builds now, guys. We hit the 47-minute mark. This is about as far as the game can go when it comes to items. Lee Sin is very near to finishing his Atma's Impaler. Udia, Randian's Omen, Wit's End. Zeal built up as well, so that's probably going to be towards a Trinity Force. If I were playing Udia, that's what I would build. Jana still has those gold per 5s ticking. So does Nautilus. So many gold per 5s on the team at the minute. And it just looks as though the longer this game goes, the more Lee Sin does fade off. Don't get me wrong, he's building for late game items, but the champion itself just doesn't have the late game stayability that the rest of these guys do. But not enough wards from the Swedes means that this might be a free Baron. Cogmore's now got in range. Bioarcane Barrage activated. I'm going to keep moving. Let's go to the scoreboard. 19 to 22. Yorick putting his Omen of Pestilence down. And nothing coming from it. No commitment. No. Swedes don't want to push this. Swedes don't want to defend this. Guys, that's the 3rd Baron of the game.
I think the Swedes are maybe just sort of hoping for a bit of unfortunate luck on the PWDT team side, because if JarQ disconnects at the right time, it really would be a loss for PWDT at this point.
Well, I think what the Swedes are trying to do is that they're letting PWD move forward. And I think they're saying, you know what, we can take the fight. We're happy for you to initiate, because we feel like we can clean up better. And then we'll have to see what's happening. Let's have a look at Yorick. Manamune, Frozen Heart, Spirit Visage, and a Phage takes a stun to the face. Wall of Pain is down, and that's a fairly high cooldown. 10 to 15 seconds at this point. So if I were PWD, I would want to commit now. They're going in. Here comes the stun onto Udia. Next focus is going to be onto Jana. Monsoon Pop just to save her life. That's going to be a dead Siva, but she's going to come back to life with Guardian Angel as well as the Yorick ultimate. Nautilus is pushing forward along with Yorick. They're going to manage to focus down Fizz as he's in and amongst the team trying to pick up kills. And the next focus is Kog'Maw. Udia is tanking 3. Kog'Maw's not going to be able to survive the pressure. Udia is now trying to fight down Sivir.
No health.
1 versus 3. Udia might even get away from this. The last layer waste is enough to pick up the kill. In the bottom lane, Kog'Maw picks up a kill onto Kog'Maw now. How on earth is Kog'Maw still alive? How on earth is Kog'Maw not even blown his Guardian Angel? Lee Sin now going to be probably taken out.
Desperately needing some help.
Trying to use his shield. Look at those crits. 1 and 2 crits onto Soraka. Almost enough to kill her.
Did Sivir not go down in that fight?
4 for 1.
Did she have a GA? Oh, Sivir has a GA.
4 for 1. Yep. Sivir got GA procced rather. And a Yorick ultimate as well. So it was really, really great play. And like I said, the Swedes were saying, you know what, we can take this fight. We don't care you got Baron, we don't care you got the gold lead. With the Karthus AoE, with the tankability of Nautilus, the unkillability of Yorick, and then the ghost of Sivir, this looks like it's going to be a Swedish win after I predicted the Poles winning early on.
Interesting. The tactics of the Swedes is brilliant because a Kog'Maw needs to hang back and, you know, stand back and use his Biochem Barrage to do the damage and get his kills. And they're saying, that's fine, you can stand back and do that. We'll just come and stand next to you and then move the fight outside of your range. So Kog'Maw's being forced to fight Nautilus and Yorick every time, who both have huge amounts of armor, so he's not doing nearly as much damage to them as he could be.
Yeah, it is true. And look at the item builds. Let's bring the scores back up really quickly. You've got Randian's Omen, you've got Frozen Heart, you've got 2 Lockets of the Iron Solaria, you've got 2 Shurelia's Reveries, Aegis of the Legion thrown in, Guardian Angel, Zhonya's Hourglass. Every single one of the Swedish team has built defensive items to counter the mostly physical damage of Lee Sin and Kog'Maw and Udia. Now, don't get me wrong, I fully understand they've all got magic elements to them. The Bio-Arcane Barrage, the Tiger Stance procs, there is, of course, magic to that side as well. But for the most part, the majority of their damage is from auto attacks.
Definitely think we're getting to the point now where we're going to be seeing triple pots on
yep.
a lot of the champions.
The next team fight's going to decide it. In my opinion, having 2 inhibitors open for the PWT boys, and of course having 1 inhibitor open for the Swedes, the next team to lose a big team fight and not lose their carry, I think that's going to be key. Although saying that Udia and Lee can really push down towers incredibly quickly.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the game-winning point.
If you can, hover the stream over Kog'Maw for a second, and just have a look at some of the crits that he's getting, up to like 1,045 damage.
Does he have an Infinity Edge?
He's finished his Infinity Edge now. He's actually completely finished his item build. And as I said, there's the 3 pots from him there now. So the Elixir of Fortitude giving him the extra life, Agility giving him the extra attack speed, putting up to 1.9 attacks per second.
I'd also like to point out as well, just quickly before this next team fight breaks out, look at the items on Janna. Shurelia's and Aegis in comparison to Locket, Shurelia's, Stark's Fervor. And we got some damage. There goes the stun onto Kog'Maw. Nautilus is really focusing Kog'Maw down. Udia's in and amongst all of them, but look at that damage. Huge Chum the Waters from Fizz. Deals massive damage to the entire team, but a wish from Soraka comes out, giving huge health back. That's Lee Sin and Udia down under the damage of Sivir and the Sivir clone. And they're effectively fighting 6 champions now. Compliments of that clone from Sivir. That's going to be another inhibitor down, and I think that's game. I think they're going to be able to push through and take out the Nexus. Really, really unlucky for the disconnects from Fizz. 1 more kill going down into Janna. Then goes the Riptide. Won't deal enough to pick it up. Might be a kill on Fizz, but not really important. And it makes you wonder, what would have happened if Fizz was there in the first 20 minutes, 25 minutes, a bit more often? Would they have been able to push down? I mean, they had 4 turrets by 25 minutes. And unfortunately, the disconnect screwing it up a little bit.
I definitely think as well, the Janna spending so much money on oracles and wasting that gold on that could have been bought on defensive items for her team. A Locket of the Iron Solari for her team would have been immensely helpful for those Kog'Maw ultimates, and the Shurelia's coming in a bit earlier would have helped them chase down a few of the kills that they desperately tried for. Definitely a very good game.
All right. Well, what I'm going to do, guys, that is really, really GG. Well played to the Swedes. I've just added them to my friend list at the moment. I'm going to be quickly stopping the record for the local, just so I can remember to upload this to YouTube later.